Hey folks, welcome to the Maverick Gunwork channel. Today we're going to talk about the Browning SA22 takedown. It's a 22 long rifle that is made in Belgium. All right, and here we have that little jewel. All right, you can see we have a lot of engraving on the side, and this is standard. That's the way all of them were made. This plus some. They were a lot of different versions. Some of them had gold inlaid, some of them had gold-plated triggers, all kinds of different things. Little fancier stocks, all kinds of options on these little rascals. And they're still made today, actually. They've been made since 1914. All right. First thing we want to do, start out with, we're going to pull our bolt back, which is eject from the bottom, and we'll make sure that we have no rounds in the chamber or in the magazine. All right, and we're good to go there. So they were made in Belgium originally by FN. Actually contracted to make these for the Browning patent, and made in Belgium until 1973, and in '74 they were made in Japan and have been made in Japan since then by Morocco. And then Morocco makes a lot of I want to say better quality products that have the U.S. patents on them now. And with this one, let's do a little show you how to take down. It is a takedown model, all right? So to take it down, to disconnect the barrel from the frame, we push this little tab right here under the forearm, pull our bolt back a little bit so the bolt disengages from your chamber, turn it quarter turn, and wiggle it out. Should wiggle right out there. There we go. So now you've got your barrel and your receiver and stock are separated. Okay. And from here, makes it really easy to clean also. So to clean this little jewel, we'll pull our bolt back and run our solvent around in the chamber and around any surfaces where the carbon would build up from gunpowder and lead residue. Okay. And we would do the same thing with our barrel. Makes it really easy to get to. We'll stick our solvent patch down through the barrel, let it soak for a few minutes, and come back with a clean dry patch. And as always with any firearm, if it's been a long time since it's been cleaned, you may have to use a brass brush to scrub out some of the lead built up, and come back with clean patches, and finally finish it up with some light oil patch and a couple drops of oil down in the receiver, and either wipe it out with a dry cloth or blow it out with an air hose if you have compressed air available. All right. There's a couple different companies that have made similar guns to this. What I'm thinking about it, there was a copy of it made by Norinco, which is a Chinese company, and it was imported by Inter Arms. It's called, their model is ATD is what they call it. Not quite as nice, not as good a quality, honestly, as the original Browning. And even with the original Browning, another tidbit about that one, this one being made in Belgium, and I'll show you that on the barrel. The barrel will be stamped. It has a barrel patent right here. Okay. And our close-up camera work, I'll spin it around, and we can see made in Belgium. Browning Arms Company. Alrighty. And because this gun was made in Belgium, the engraving on it, on the receiver, was done by hand, whereas the Morocco models made in Japan, the engraving has been done with a laser ever since 1974. So the Browning models from Belgium are a little more desirable as far as collectible goes. And with this particular one, we have a 3/8, or is it 3/8 or 1/2 inch dovetail milled into the top of the slide for mounting a scope base. And you can see with this one, this is obviously a older used gun that has some little bit of damage on the rail here where the scope has been taken on and off over the years. But the gun still functions great. It's a really cool little deal. Then we'll show you some other features about it. We'll put the barrel back on, and we'll do some other things with it. So to put the barrel back on, we're going to pull our bolt back so we have open access to the barrel, being for the chamber to be able to fit down into the receiver. All right, 90 degrees from receiver, turn clockwise 90 degrees, and let your bolt go. Pull your locking tab down, and it is locked in position. That's all there is to it. And with this one, we have a bottom eject. the spent shell will eject it from the bottom of the receiver. And that being the case, on most guns, you know, it ejects out the side or out the top. But here, being a bottom eject, we have plenty of surface area to be embellished, I guess you'd say, with engraving. Pretty cool little deal. Another thing you want to keep in mind, if you're a left-handed person, for example, this being I want to say ambidextrous almost, as far as the ejection goes, the spent shell ejects out the bottom of the receiver. So does not, if you're left-handed, you don't have to be concerned with the typical right-handed ejection hitting against your body. It's going to go straight down. And that being the case, you got to consider that fact. I would not recommend going out and shooting this gun and at the range with flip-flops on or barefooted, because the spent shell is going to go straight down and could possibly burn your toes if you let it fall fall on your feet. You know, it would not be a good day. You need a few seconds for the cartridge to cool down after it's been fired. All right, and to load this gun, we have a side port on the stock where you would load your ammo into. To pull the magazine tube out, we turn it quarter turn, and it pulls out the back end of the stock, right, the butt of the stock. And here, what I want to do is we're going to drop a Werewolf silver bullet in here. So one of my dummy rounds, and I just dropped it in backwards, didn't I? What have I done here? Okay, see if I can get that back out. See, even gunsmith's not always a genius here. Okay, now we're going to drop it in like we should. I get my fingers to work right. All right, we'll drop that down. We're going to close our magazine tube. Turn it 90 degrees to lock it in. And put our bolt back. The gun is now loaded with one dummy round. We'll take our safety off. And let's do a trigger pull test. Before I get too far ahead of myself, grab our trigger pull gauge. Hook it up here and see what we get. That's a nice 3.5 pounds. Very good. All right. And that's typical of what I would suggest for any kind of hunting rifle, as this would be considered a gallery or a squirrel gun kind of thing, small game kind of rifle. And after it fires, ejection port opens and your spent shell kicks out the bottom. Isn't that cool? So if you've never seen one of these guys, it's interesting little 22. Works very well, and is as always with anything that's Browning made in Belgium, is very collectible. Even the ones that have been abused over the years still has some collector value. And now you can buy these guns new today still. They start at about $700 and go up to $1,500–1,600 for the nicely engraved and embellished models. And since it's been made in 1914, there's been over 500,000 of them sold. So it is a elite little gun. People still buying it today. That pretty much concludes our I guess overview of the Browning SA22. Come back and check us out at Maverick Gun Works. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the Browning SA22 semi-automatic takedown rifle. We brought it out to the farm now. I'm going to shoot it a few times and see what we get out of it. And what I'd like to do now is we're going to put in a few of the CCI Mini Mag 22 cartridges, because it has a little more power, I guess you say. It's 1,235 feet per second versus the standard ammo. The standard 22s are going to be about 1,000 to 1,050 feet per second. And I think the semi-automatics typically prefer something that's a little more power to help cycle the action on it. So we'll pull out our magazine tube here and drop our ammo into the side of the buttstock. Let those slide down. 3. We're just going to put 5 in it for now. I believe that's 5. We'll give it a little twist. So you put it in, turn a quarter turn. It locks in place. And we'll pull our bolt back. Chamber should be loaded. Safety is on. And let's step over to the range and give it a few shots. Okay, we're here at the range. Let's see how the little 22 cycles. Yow! Lesson learned for that one. This thing's a bottom eject. Don't put your hands on the bottom of it. It'll burn your fingers. And the gun is empty. That's it. Thank you for watching. Okay, we're going to take a closer look at the target, since I did the handgun and the .22 rifle on here, and it's obviously that my handgun shooting was not quite as close as the rifle was, but that's a cool little rifle. I've got, here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, real close to the X, and that was just me standing freehand trying to get a decent shot at it. So I like that gun. That's a pretty cool deal.